Hello everyone. Today I kind of wanted to do a more casual chat whilst also talking about a book that I just read and my thoughts on this book, which is ironic because today's topic is Solomonic magic and that type of magic is so not casual. But grab a cup of tea and let's talk about Solomonic magic together. So I have decided that I would like to start a series called Books and Tea, and this is going to be similar to my Let's Talk Spellwork series. This is going to be a very chatty, casual video where I just talk about books as we have tea together. So I hope you enjoy. If you clicked on this video and you have no idea what Solomonic magic is basically magic that derives from the texts of King Solomon. And this man was the leader of Israel around 1010 BCE, so we're talking a really long time ago. Solomon earned a reputation of being an excellent exorcist, a sorcerer, a magician, basically someone who could command demons and get them to do his bidding. So Solomonic magic is usually working with angels, demons, and jinn. Solomonic magic itself is woven into so many different esoteric traditions. When we think of ceremonial magic, I think this is the tradition that I personally hear about the most of people wanting to practice Solomonic magic. And I wanted to share some information from this book because this book is my first 5-star book of the year. I am so excited to talk about this book and just talk about, Solomonic magic in general. I am so pleasantly surprised with this book. So for those that don't know, I have a 5-star rating system, and last year, the reason why you haven't seen a lot of book videos from me in 2023 is because a lot of the books that I read were very mediocre, and I just didn't feel like there was anything worth talking about. If I read a mediocre book, I don't really feel like I want to waste my time making a book review on it when it was just okay, when it was just in the middle of the road. So I'm really excited to talk about this book today because it is my first 5-star book of the year. And just as a reference, I do not give out 5 stars willy-nilly, okay? I think there was maybe only 2 books in 2023 that got a 5-star rating from me. And a lot of really, really good books fall into a 4-star category for me. And there's still really great books that I have absolutely no issues with, but a 5-star book, this is a book that had that wow factor that was completely mind-blowing to me, like in another level from the other books that I've read. So this book is called The Sorcery of Solomon, A Guide to the 44 Planetary Pentacles of the Magician King by Sarah Mastros. I really love this author's perspective as a Jewish individual because she talks about, there's a lot of debate about cultural appropriation when it comes to Solomonic magic, and I really appreciated her perspective as a Jewish individual, how this practice is appropriate for anybody to practice even if you aren't Jewish. So I definitely encourage you to give this a read. But let's talk about Solomonic magic because, as I mentioned, it is woven into so many traditions. So just as an example, some of them are Egyptian priestcraft, Jewish amulet writing, Greek Goetia or Goetia, I've heard it pronounced both ways, Roman witchcraft, Arabic astrological magic, Catholic, Orthodox, Christian, and Muslim ceremonial magic, Afro-Caribbean sorcery, and a variety of contemporary Anglophone magics. And if you go online and you're wanting to get into Solomonic magic, you'll often see 3 books put together. You'll see the Greater Key of Solomon, which is also just called the Key, and then you'll also see the Lesser Key of Solomon, as well as a 3rd book called the Testament of Solomon. And this can be really confusing for people because with these 3 different books, people don't understand what is in what books. They don't know where to start or begin. It can be really daunting and intimidating. I think the Lesser Key of Solomon is probably the most popular, at least that I see when I'm browsing Facebook groups or Reddit groups or whatever. Everybody's always talking about the Lesser Key of Solomon because that one is really like a grimoire where you're working with Goetia. A lot of people know of Goetia and have heard that term before, but some people don't realize that that is a form of Solomonic magic. There's so much more that goes into the Lesser Key Solomon than that. It's actually broken up into, I think, 5 books. Let me just fact check myself real quick. Yes, it is broken up into 5 books. So the first one is Ars Goetia, the second is Ars Thurgia Goetia, 3rd is Ars Paulina, 4th is Ars Almadel, and then the last one is Ars Notoria. So this is the one that I see, especially on Reddit. If you go on there, people are always talking about the Lesser Key of Solomon. But for people wanting to get into Solomonic magic, it can be a little bit difficult because you see these 3 books, the Greater Key, the Lesser Key, the Testament of Solomon, all of this, and people just don't know where to begin. So I really enjoyed this book because I felt like this is the perfect companion book to someone wanting to do Solomonic magic. This book is written written for beginners and more intermediate and advanced practitioners. I don't know how Sarah did it, but she did it. She made it approachable for beginners, yet not necessarily being a beginner book, and I think that everybody could get at least a little something out of this. So this book doesn't necessarily go through all of the Solomonic texts and gives you a guide to all of that. It really specializes in specifically the 44 planetary pinnacles, but it does give a little context on Solomon, and it also helps you develop a relationship with Solomon and just teaches you how to bring him into ritual in the first place. And a lot of you have been really curious about my ceremonial magic journey because, as I mentioned, in December of this last year, I'm kind of stepping away from witchcraft a little bit and moving deeper back into ceremonial magic. So this stuff isn't necessarily new to me. This is stuff that I was attempting to approach maybe 10 plus years ago now in doing some of those rituals, etc. By the way, there's a ton of rituals in here, and I will actually read one of the rituals to you as well, just so you can kind of get an idea of what's going to be in this book. But yeah, I've mentioned in my videos many times before that I just don't have any sort of desire to work with angels and demons, and I've kind of shifted my perspective a little bit on angels and demons, because even if we don't fully believe in the existence of angels and demons, let's say, I do believe that they are at least egregores, right? Because egregores are these thought forms or these entities that are created by the collective, and so many people have pushed their energy into these angels and demons over centuries to where even if they weren't objectively real, I can at least say that they are an egregore because of how much energy people have put into them over time. So that's kind of how I view angels and demons and really any sort of mythological beings. I view them more as egregores, and I reserve the right to change my opinion at any time, okay? We're always growing and evolving, but that is kind of how I currently work with them and see them. Now, I am just getting back into the ceremonial game after 10 plus years of a hiatus because I was doing other things in the occult community. So I'm really excited to share my journey with you and my process as I go back into this kind of stuff. And another interesting thing that was brought up in my Discord server, we were discussing Solomonic magic. King Solomon wasn't necessarily a good person. However, when we were having this discussion in Discord, it's kind of similar to the idea of, if you're going in for a surgery, if you're gonna have a major surgery done, you don't really care if the surgeon is a nice person. You want the surgeon to be really good at their job. You want them to be able to go in and do whatever needs to be done so that you can heal at the end of the day. It doesn't necessarily matter what their bedside manner is, as long as they are a really skilled surgeon. And that's kind of how I view King Solomon. He does have this reputation of being an incredible exorcist or sorcerer, being able to command these demons and jinn and angels, and bringing him into your ritual space is like bringing in that surgeon that has this incredible ability to get shit done and do what needs to be done. Another thing I really enjoyed about this book is that it shows you how to develop your own magical book and really have a deep relationship to it. For example, one of the rituals in this book is awakening your book for the very first time, and it says this ritual will take about an hour, and it is best done during any hour of Mercury on a Wednesday. Before beginning the ritual, gather your wrapped book, a black pen, a beeswax tea light, a lighter, and a way to draw a small amount of blood. When you are ready to begin, enter magical space-time consciousness, light the candle, and unwrap the book. Put the scarf on your head and invoke Solomon. In your most careful and delightful penmanship, inscribe the following on the first page of the book. And then it discusses all the things that you want to inscribe on your book. It also talks about speaking directly to the book, what you should say. It talks about raising power in your body. It talks about how to sign your name to the book and then do rituals with it in the future. And it really does walk you through setting up your own book by awakening the Great Seal and then how to work with the Great Seal. For example, here's another ritual when you're working with the Great Seal in your book. You would first enter a magical space-time consciousness, untie and unwrap the book, set the ribbon aside. You can hang it around your neck, tie it around your head or waist, or use it to make a circle around the book if you want. You would kiss the scarf and put it on your head, whisper its secret name to it, and ask for help and protection. Invoke Solomon, greet the book and kiss it, open the book to the Great Seal, rub your hands together until they are hot, use them to spin the Great Seal counterclockwise, that is, in the direction of the writing, to open it, and then you feel its roots rooting out from the other place, feel it expand and blossom, opening a magical space-time consciousness vortex in the book. Then you greet your seal, explain why you have opened it, and then there's a whole process to closing the Great Seal as well. So tons of rituals in here, and it's going through all 44 planetary pentacles. So for example, you have the pentacles of the moon here. And I just really love how she explained everything in this book. It was so easy to understand. And yeah, I just think it's a fantastic complementary book for anybody that's attempting to work Solomonic magic. There's dream incubation in here, trance journey, spirit communication, etc. The reason why I think these book videos are so important is because we have a tendency in the occult community, I've said this many times before, to talk about the same top 10 or top 20 occult books. And I'm really wanting to expose you all to different books that I think are fantastic, that are worth your money and worth your time. Reading Sarah's perspective was just so lovely. So definitely check this out if you're interested in Solomonic magic, and I will keep you all updated on my journey with this. Thanks so much for having tea with me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you all soon.